Good morning, Jeremy. It's going fine because I've got Roy Rickstrew with me, your disability rep, and it is always good to see you. Always
Likewise.
learn something new, and this pertains to so many people in this area. We're going to talk about making claims, going in, kind of presenting your case. You don't just do this willy-nilly, just walk in and think, yeah, I know what I have to do.
No, it's amazing to me. So many times in hearings especially, you'll have judges ask a client, how long can you stand or how long can you sit? Seems to be very basic things, but so much of the time the answer is, I don't know, I've never timed it, I'm not sure. So today we're going to talk about the importance of knowing your own case.
Okay.
You are your best advocate. You know, obviously you hire somebody to help you to present the case. We don't know what life is like in your shoes, that
Right.
day to day. You have to kind of fill in some of these details about what reality of your case is, and it's important that you be prepared.
There is no cookie cutter when it comes to this. Everyone is different, very subjective.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the thing is, I mean, you have to be the expert on how this thing affects you, how your disability impacts you. And so, you know, your symptoms and your emotional state are things that are important to know. I can ask you how often you have crying spells, but you have to be able to tell me how often that is.
Okay.
And you know, we have the best read ourselves as to how we function day to day. So the difficulties you encounter in your daily routine, the laundry, the dishes, what your abilities, your limitations are in getting those things done, kind of the day-to-day impact of those disability on your activities, your routine, your schedule keeping, that sort of thing.
This isn't something that pertains to doctors' records. This is something you have to know.
Well, right. These are things you can do to help bolster your own case, to help improve your own chances. You know, you're going to know your functional loss. So how well you're able to use your hands and your fingers to stay on task, to remember, to focus. You sit down to balance the checkbook. Are you able to take care of that task? Does your mind wander? Do you drift off? Do you have to get up and come back to it? Decision making is a big deal for a lot of people, especially if they have anxiety issues. Even the simplest of decisions are a big agonizing event for those folks.
Yeah.
But if you're not there to tell us how much of an impact or how difficult these things are, we just simply don't know from the records alone.
Well, it sounds like also there are a lot of, you know, side avenues that you may not even be aware of. It's like, yeah, I don't get sleep, but you don't necessarily, if you don't think about it or aren't helped through this, you don't necessarily know how that not getting a lot of sleep is affecting everything else.
You're right. And what I tell people a lot of times is imagine you're the boss supervising yourself, right?
Okay.
Look critically at it, at the ways that you're failing. Look at it as if you are that employer saying, gosh, you know, he came in dreary and tired and upset again today. You know, if you kind of look at it from that boss's perspective, I think it helps us to be more aware of the limitations we have. And while we're talking about being your own boss, you know, at home we set our own timelines. We determine how much work we get done today. We define the expectations. And you know, what's acceptable to a person who's filing for disability and what may have been acceptable to them 10 years ago are different things, right? A lot of things can slide. Clean isn't exactly the same as clean used to be. Right? Cleaning the house used to be scrubbing the tub and mopping the floors. Maybe now it's picking the clothes up, right?
Right.
But if you're not there to kind of give us this idea of how those chores get done from this boss's perspective, how things have changed, how you've reduced your workload, those things are all very important to your case.
Okay, it sounds like it's also important to maybe have an extra set of eyes or an extra mind that's thinking about these different things.
Well, it is, and this kind of brings us to the things that we don't want to admit. I mean, maybe you're skipping showers, maybe you're re-wearing the same clothes, maybe you're skipping a bunch of chores, the house isn't as clean we talked about, maybe it's paper plates because you dropped too many dishes, right? It's important that you kind of step back and look at this from a third person perspective.
All right, there seems like a lot of things to cover, and that's of course why you look for someone who has expertise in this field. So if people want to get, you know, maybe a few answers to questions they might have, or at least be able to understand more about this, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, you can click the QR code there in the corner of the screen. That goes to a scheduling app. You can set an appointment on my calendar, or just the old-fashioned way. Give me a ring, 417-812-6698. Direct to my desk. Love to hear from you.
All right, you'll get in touch with your disability rep, Roy Rickstrew. Back to you.